What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. I hope your day is off to a good start. I know it's a holiday, so maybe you got to sleep in, or maybe it's crazier because all the kids are home and around and you're trying to get them busy. That's been my morning so far. I had my nephews spend the night, and so it's been a crazy house around here, but I did just get my workout done, so that felt really great, and I wanted to come on and talk to you guys. I saw somebody ask about having several challengers who have knee issues, and their knees are really bothering them since starting the program, and should they just not do this program? Is this program not for them? So I want to come on and talk to you guys about that. And it always seems like fate sort of puts these questions at the exact right time for me to talk about this stuff, because I got to be honest. So I have issues with my wrists sometimes, and you'll even hear me talk about it in the program. I don't remember what day it was on. I think it was on a cardio flow day, but it hasn't come up yet, where my wrist was like really bothering me to the point where I couldn't put pressure on it, but I had to get through cardio flow. We had to film it. So I was like doing push-ups like on my fingertips in the video. And then I knew it wasn't an injury, but I mean, it was like excruciating pain. Like I could not press my hand down. Went and saw my physical therapist, and he's like, hey, you got knots in your forearms, probably from holding really heavy weight on like all these other days. And he worked the heck out of my forearms, and poof, my wrist was better, and I didn't have an issue with it the rest of the program. Well, here we are, and on Saturday, my wrist started to bother me when I was doing cardio flow, so I modified where I needed to. And I said to my sister, I was like, God, my wrist is like really bothering me. And by this morning, like I couldn't even move it in my sleep. It hurt so bad. So I am going to see my physical therapist today. But here's the thing. Does that mean I quit and don't do the program? No. Does it mean I'm extra careful? Yes. So today when I'm holding my weights, I didn't load anything up at my shoulder because that would put more pressure on my wrist. I loaded down at my side for everything because that's how I'm going to modify. When it comes, and it's okay, it'll get fixed. I'll go see my physical therapist. He'll probably rub some knots out of my arms, out of my hands. You guys, don't forget, our hands knot up just from holding things. And we are in plank a lot. So you are holding your body weight up on your hands and on your wrists. It can take a beating on them. But let's talk about our knees, right? Because people complain about their knees quite a bit. So the question was basically like, oh, my knees are bothering me. Should I just not do the program? I'm not one to say, like call you out and say like, oh, you're just being a baby about it, just do it, right? But I'm also not one to give you an excuse about it either. But here's what I'll say. If aside from having like a serious knee injury, like maybe you have an ACL tear or you've had your ACL repaired or you have arthritis, if you have a real injury, that's one thing. And you might not be able to do this particular program. It might be too intense for you. But if you find that your knees are just aching and you have no real injury, we need to talk about some other things. So first of all, it could be because you're carrying extra weight on your body. That's just a thing. That's not to put anybody down or anything. It's more weight on your joint. It could be that you're not doing enough self-care. It could be that you're not foam rolling and stretching enough. I've talked about knotted muscles and how important it is to work those out. And even if you're not going for massages to foam roll or whatever it might be that you need to do, because if your muscles are knotted, if your quads and your IT band, which is what runs down the side of your leg here, and your glutes and everything else are all knotted up, it pulls on your knee joint. If your calves are super tight, it pulls on your knee joint. So yeah, they're going to hurt because there's knots in there. So you need to be getting that worked out one way or another, whether you're foam rolling, you're stretching, you're massaging it yourself, you're soaking in Epsom salt baths, whatever it might be, you need to take care of that. So you have to be aware of sort of where the issue lies of, ooh, I have to be really careful. I have an injury and this could actually really upset the injury. And do I have really knotted up muscles, or do I not have the right form? Am I lifting with too heavy of weight and I'm not lifting with proper form? Because you guys, the bottom line is a squat, same as sitting down and standing up. But I've seen some people sit down with some crazy form where their knees jut out forward in front of their toes, their knees roll in, and all sorts of other things. That's bad form. So whether you're squatting in a workout or you're sitting down in a chair, your knees are still going to end up bothering you because your body is out of alignment. You're not doing it properly. So if you need to slow the workout way down and not use weights or whatever it is, and think about what I'm saying when I say your feet are hip width apart, your toes are pointed forward, your knees don't roll in, they don't roll out, your hips shoot straight back, your hamstrings are parallel to the ground. I don't say that just to fill up dead air. I say that to make sure that you're working the muscle and not your knee joint. So you need to really make sure that's what is going on, that you're working the muscle and not your joint, that you're having proper form while you're doing these exercises. Because the bottom line is, going through life, you're going to do all of these same movements in a lot of ways, right? That's why I call it functional training. Whether you bend forward and bend a knee to like tie your shoe, right? I even describe, what are they called? I'm drawing a blank on the name, where we go down. Buddha squats. I tell you, Buddha squat is just like bending down to tie your shoe. That is a functional movement. But if you do it wrong, then you're going to be in your knee instead of in your glute and instead of in your quad and using your hamstring. Okay? Again, if you squat, it's the same as sitting down. These are all similar things. And what could be causing lower back pain? Bad form. Bad form and heavy weight. It's a recipe for lower back pain. You look in a mirror, you guys. You need to make sure you're drawing your abs in. When I tell you, pull your pubic bone to your nose, there's a reason for that. Because if you're doing this, hold on, let me see if I can, let me see. If you're doing this, that's really bad lighting because of the sun and this dang room. But if you're squatting like this, that is terrible form. You need to be here. Do you see how my back is flat compared to here? So you have to be aware of form. Everything is all about form. I cue it like crazy for a reason. So if you've got somebody who's complaining about knee pain, talk to them more. Make them post a video of them doing a few of the moves. It's not to ridicule them. It's to see how their form is. That's really important, because there are very few workouts that you can do where you're not really going to have to make sure you're using proper form so you don't hurt your knee. Even yoga, you guys. Think about it. You go into Warrior 1, Warrior 2. That's a lunge. It's a lunge. If you don't know how to lunge properly, you'll still be in your knee joint. So while it's no impact, if you're holding in the wrong position, you'll still be gripping in your knee joint. Same thing with Pilates, same thing with Plyo. I mean, there's very little that you can do exercise-wise where if you're doing it wrong, it won't hurt. Like, no matter what. I hope that makes sense. But basically what I'm saying is form is everything. So, I don't know, somebody was asking a question, but I'm not sure what it was. So make sure, the bottom line is you're using proper form, even if you need to go slower. You can use lighter weight to make sure, or no weight, to make sure that your form is right. You need to make sure that you're doing your stretching. That's so important. You need to make sure you're doing your foam rolling. You guys, if you're going to spend all this time investing in hour-long workouts, investing in the equipment, investing in eating properly, invest in a foam roller and work those muscles out so that you're okay. It's really, really important. Someone said tendon in their foot when they're jumping. Roll out the bottom of your feet. Had that happen before. And yeah, you guys, you'll know it the second you're doing it right and the second you're doing it wrong. When you're doing it wrong, you'll feel it in your back or your hip or your knee or your shoulder or your elbow or somewhere else. And when you're doing it right, your muscles will be on fire. So if your muscles aren't on fire but your joints are hurting, you guaranteed form is wrong. Guaranteed. Because there's just no way that it should feel that way. So take a minute and pay attention to it. Somebody's asking about popping and cracking. That's air in your joints. As long as it doesn't hurt, it's just air in your joints. Mine pop constantly. That was my hip joint. I can pop it. We all have little things, bumps, all those kinds of things. So if it doesn't hurt, you're okay. But if it is bothering you, then I would definitely get it checked out. Let me see. What about elbows with weights and planks? Again, you guys, so this is where a massage is great, because elbows, it's a little harder to stretch that, right? But we're lifting biceps, triceps, we're doing push-ups, all this stuff, right? So all your forearm, your biceps, triceps can all get super tight too. That's where a massage is really good, right? Because you can't really foam roll your arm. I even said it to Kaylee the other day after AAA when we were about to do cardio flow. I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize how sore my arms were, but my biceps are so tight. And I went like this. I like opened my arms up to do a little chest stretch, and I was like, oh, I feel like my chest just ripped. It was so tight. So you have to remember to stretch. And I did stretch, but I just needed to stretch more. And when my body starts to hurt, that's when it tells me it's time for your weekly visit to Brett. Brett's my physical therapist, and I get in there and he just laughs at me and he's like, what'd you do this week? And then I say, do what you got to do and get me back out there. That's my line. Do what you got to do, Brett, and get me back out there. And he's like, all right, let's get in there. And so that's what we do. You guys, you're training like athletes. You're going to have to recover like an athlete and take care of your body like an athlete also. So, that's sort of my advice on joints hurting. I hope it helps, and I hope you guys have a great Monday. Enjoy your day off of work if you are off, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.